of us for joining this webinar on qualitative research and phenomenology. Time check, it's already 7:05, so we are all ready to start. Before everything else, let's all pause for a moment of silence and ask God for His guidance. Pause for a moment of silence for His guidance and, and wisdom for us to have a peace of mind as we go on with our webinar tonight. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. As we gather here in the harbor of your city, we thank you for fellowship and family. We ask that you will strengthen us, restore us, and inspire us with your love. Lord, would you fill us with your peace so that as we journey onwards, we pour out your love and grace to others. We ask that our souls would catch the wind of your spirit so that we will take your promises to all the earth. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Once again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. This will be the 5th session out of the 8 sessions in our Season 2 Learn at Home webinar series that the USJR College of Education has prepared for all of you. I am Mr. John Hector Ubando, faculty member of the Physical Education Department of the college, and I will be your facilitator for this session. I hope that you are doing great, and I hope that you are staying at home and continue to learn. The topic for this webinar is grade. It's one of the topics that I really look forward since I'm also writing my own research paper. I am 101% sure that after this webinar, you will also be able to create your individual research paper effortlessly. So, I hope you have your notepads and pens with you because we are going to start. To give us more information about the session for tonight, allow me to call one of the faculty members of the Teacher Education Department of the College of Education. Friends, the forever young and dynamic Mrs. Leah May Ladonga. Good evening, Ma'am Leah.
Good evening. A blessed Friday every evening to each and every one of us present in this webinar. The University of San Jose Recoletos School of Education is indeed fortunate to have gained the support and trust of our dear administration, chairs, faculty members, personnel, networks, and linkages for the resounding success of our Learn at Home webinar series. The original plan was to have Friday night runs from May to June, but due to the positive feedback that we are all getting from all of you, dear viewers, we are on our 5th session for our Season 2. The responses from our viewers and the overwhelming yeses of all the invited speakers, both here and abroad, have given the organizers an affirmation that indeed a lot of us really want to continue learning and sharing in the comforts of our homes. So with all this in mind, the USJR School of Education is positive that tonight's session on qualitative research with phenomenology will continue on with our Friday learning nights habit. We are lucky to have been graced with the presence of a dear mentor whose books on media and information literacy and quantitative and qualitative research for senior high school, college, and graduate studies have been very useful also in my research journey. So, we hope that this session will also be of help to researchers, to research advisors, and also to the would-be researchers. We also do hope that you strengthen your commitment in doing research, for research refines the quality of our lives. There's actually a big difference with interest and commitment, and I hope that we try to commit ourselves with research. So to end this welcome address, allow me to end a quote coming from Art Turox saying, there is a difference between interest and commitment. When you are interested in doing something, you do it only when circumstances permit. When you're committed to do something, you accept no excuses, only results. So, let's all stay committed, everyone, and let's all do research. A pleasant evening.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Leia. A lot of our viewers have been making this Friday night a habit for all of us to learn together. Mrs. Elizabeth Orimaco, also a competent faculty member of the Physical Education Department of the college, is here to tell us more about the rationale of the series of webinars that we have had prepared for all of you, our dear viewers. Good evening, Mrs. Orimaco.
Okay, thank you, Sir John. Good evening. Once again, welcome to the University of San Jose Recoletos College of Education Learn at Home series with the theme, Maintaining a Stress-Free Lifestyle while Reinventing Teaching and Learning Paradigms in the New Normal. For everyone's knowledge and attention, the host, University of San Jose Recoletos College of Education is located in Cebu City, Philippines, and is recognized by the Commission on Higher Education as the Center of Excellence in Teacher Education in the region. We thank you for your enormous response and participation to our previous webinar series that inspired us to continue to share our gifts and expertise for those who want to learn at home, at the comforts of their homes. Now, we gathered around 5,000 to 7,000 and 7,400 views, to 10,000, 12,000, 16,000 views, and 39,000, and as far as 43,000. We also have the 7,800 views to prove that we have been connecting with you all for this opportunity, for this learning opportunity. Hence, aside from learning at home, you will also be receiving several perks for joining this series. First, you will acquire new learning in the comforts of your home. And second, you can share them in your respective learning groups. Thirdly, you will receive a certificate of participation for every topic that you have attended. And lastly, you will also receive a certificate of completion once you finish the 4 webinar series for this month. I'm sure that you are all excited for our session tonight. So sit back, relax, and have fun while learning. Enjoy the rest of the webinar, and thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Orimaco. You all have heard our engagements and number of views in each of our webinars. I think that the USJR College of Education deserves a thundering applause for these initiatives. But since we are virtually connected, may I request a heart, like, or thumbs up sign for all our YouTube Live participants. I see. Wow, thank you so much for the likes. Once again, we are aiming for a smooth sailing webinar. We'll all be together for more than an hour. So I think it is but appropriate to also remind you of what is expected of us as we listen to the talk of our honorable speaker. So here are a few reminders. Okay, so we have the house rules. First, make sure to keep your microphone mute at all times, unless you are asked to unmute it. It is recommended that you also keep your webcams off so that we will have a lighter traffic in our webinar. Questions will be entertained only during the open forum, which will be done after the talk. And lastly, if you have questions, please leave a comment on the USJR COE Hallway Live video, or you may comment down your questions in our YouTube Live. Thank you. After the talk, we'll also be having trivia questions. If you wish to answer our trivia questions, please write them down in the comment section of our YouTube Live. I also remind the viewers that the first name of the correct answer that I, as the host, see from my screen will be declared winner. But for the benefit of the other participants of our webinar, I will be giving out at least 2 questions. For the winners, please message the COE hallway page with your complete name and GCash account number for your 100 pesos GCash loan. Okay, so let us all move forward and listen to the first talk on qualitative research and phenomenology. This very interesting topic is to be presented by the Doctor of Philosophy in Education, major in Research and Evaluation, a graduate school professor at Cebu Normal University, Holy Trinity University, Palawan, UVGS, and former faculty, research department head, and community extension director of University of Cebu Mamaling Campus. He is the president of International Multidisciplinary Research and Advocacy and the CEO of Adianos Research and Analysis Services. He is also an author of books like Media Information Literacy, Qualitative and Quantitative Research for senior high, college, and graduate students. He also published research articles in a reputable Scopus Index international journals. His works were cited in Google Scholar by various researchers around the globe, as far as Middle East, Northern Europe, Indonesia, Thailand, and Philippines. He was awarded by Elsevier as an outstanding international research reviewer of 2017 and involved recently as COVID-19 research peer reviewer for worldwide pandemic mitigation. As an extensionist, he was involved in various outreach programs and projects in collaboration with non-government organizations, LGUs, religious and private organizations focusing in the field of education, environmental concerns, livelihood training programs, social issues and concerns, and research-based technology transfer for partner communities and stakeholders. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you Dr. Mark Navarro Abadiano. Good evening, Doc.
Hey, good evening, Sir Jan. Thank you for the detailed introduction. Can you hear me? How are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I would like to share first my screen. Can you see now my screen, Sir Jan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So I will make it full screen now. Okay, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat for our Tagalog and Filipino colleague nationwide. Good evening, magandang gabi for the Bisaya. And then this is the title of our webinar on qualitative research with phenomenology. First, I would like to thank the Dean of College of Education, Dr. Babda, for the invitation, and the people behind, the faculty and staff of University of San Jose Recoletos for this invitation. So, for the love of research, I say yes. So, here we are in qualitative research with phenomenology. The outline of tonight's topic would be, I will tackle about the introduction about research, and then the difference between quali and quanti. So, as we all know, we are more into quanti. Filipinos are more into quanti. So, we will have a paradigm shift. This is now the new normal in research. And then types of qualitative research. I'll give you one sample of phenomenology later on. And then study design in quali. Then the method of data collection, how you gather data in qualitative. How to handle qualitative data, how to analyze qualitative data, and later on, how to present the results of qualitative research. Okay? Are you ready? Now we'll start. Scientists are more comfortable with quantitative research. Even the educators like us, we're into quantitative methods that deals with collection and processing numerical data. We are into questions about how often, to what extent the academic performance of physical education students like this and like that. How much? How many? But cannot answer questions on why, bakit, how, paano, in what way. So quantitative cannot answer questions like that. So qualitative will came in to the picture. So qualitative research can provide insight which is not possible to elucidate with purely quantitative data. It means for exploring and understanding a meaning of individuals or groups ascribed to social or human problems. For example, we have this study about prostitution. So kahit na yung prostitute, kahit nakapangasawa na siya ng mga Amerikano, babalik at babalik pa rin siya sa pag-prostitute. So we cannot understand why it happened. Like for example, for drug addicts, kahit ilang tukhang pa yan, babalik at babalik pa rin siyang mag-a-addict. So qualitative study human behavior and social world. It helps us to understand the world in which we live and why things are the way they are. So this is qualitative research, more on the feelings and emotions. Qualitative research answers questions why people behave the way they do. We cannot do that in quantitative. It's all numbers, it's all numericals. In qualitative, we will understand why people behave the way they do. Bakit maraming trolls sa website? Bakit maraming mga fame war? Yung mga kulang sa pansin? How opinions and attitudes are formed? Bakit iba-ibang tao, iba't ibang mga attitude, iba't ibang opinion? How people are affected by the events that go on around them? For example, this pandemic. Why some people are depressed? Why some people are good in coping up the depression? How and why cultures have developed? For example, we have this, since I'm the extensionist of Community Extension Director of University of Cebu Mambaling, former CARES Director of UC Maritime. So we went to the adapted barangay, which badyaws are there. So you can't imagine the smell of their mga tae nila nasa kanilang bahay, nasa kusina. So because their culture is really, they are nomads to the sea. Then suddenly the Germans, the Europeans give them shelter, give them concrete houses without knowing that they are not into that kind of houses. They are more into bangkas, fisherman's boat, like that. And then everything is mabaho talaga. So you cannot fathom the smell. Then the difference between social groups. And these are their culture. For example, since we have a Nigerians before, and I told them why your smell is so strong, in politely saying, and one of them said that the more mabaho yung smell nila, the more it will attract to opposite sex. So yun yung culture na develop ng mga Africans. No? Some cultures in ethnography would say that the longer yung mga long neck ng mga babae ng Africans, the longer the neck, the more beautiful they are, attractive to the opposite sex. And then the difference between social groups. If you don't know, there are different range of sexual LGBTQ. No? There are different identities. SOGIs. We will differentiate now what is quanti versus quali. Qualitative is subjective. As I've said, it's concerned with opinion, experiences, and feelings of individuals. While quantitative, it's objective. We are more on You still remember your quantitative research that would talk about, would will just answer yes or no, or on the Likert scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's objective type. And then qualitative research is holistic. You are studying the whole person or subject. While quantitative is reductionist. Reductionist. It means you are just going to identify a set of variables, age, the profile of the respondents. While in quali, you are observing the person, observing the subject. Qualitative is phenomenological. Phenomenological. You're studying about the phenomenon being studied, while quantitative is scientific. When you say scientific, it has a step-by-step procedure, but more on the numerical side. Qualitative is descriptive. You describe the phenomenon. And then quantitative, it's experimental. If you can still remember your statistics, it's there is no significant relationship between variable A and B or X and Y, like that. And then qualitative research is naturalistic. You are studying the natural phenomenon. So whatever emerged from the participants, we call it participants in quali, that's it. And then quantitative is contrived. Since you are doing a survey, for example, this is the survey question, you just give it to the respondents without feelings, without anything to do with them. So they will just answer yes or no or whatever it is that. Then qualitative is inductive. It can generate theories, by the way, especially in grounded theories. While quantitative, it tests and proposes theories, so testing hypothesis. Then qualitative, number 7, it's a small sample. What's good with quali? You can have, as long as there's a point of saturation, you can end at 10, 12, pabalik-balik na lang yung mga answer ng mga participants. You can stop at that point of saturation. The rule of thumb there is the point of saturation. Pabalik-balik na lang yung mga answer nila. You stop at the 11, 12, or 8, depende. But 5, 4 would be for case study. Then representative sample for quantitative. So malakihan yung sampling ng quantitative. And the results in qualitative is generalizability is not an aim. Then quantitative, usually generalizability is an important aim. So that's it. Quantitative versus qualitative. There are a lot of qualitative research designs, but I will just mention tonight the 4 major types of qualitative research design. It includes ethnography, grounded theory, case study, which will tackle on qualitative, and also phenomenology, which will be our focus tonight, also the panel. Let's start with ethnography. The term means portrait of people. This is one kind of qualitative design. It is a methodology for descriptive studies of cultures and peoples. Cultural parameter is suspected of affecting the population response to care or treatment. I have this advisee. Her study in Palawan was the womb to tomb of Taot Bato, one tribe in Palawan, Taot Bato. So she went to the place, 3 to 4 mountains and rivers to rivers, and then she spent almost a month there studying the culture of that Taot Bato. So she discovered a lot of things about the culture. So studying the culture of portrait of people is ethnography. The example here, cultural parameters suspected of affecting the population's response to care or treatment. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Certain Christian faith, I think Jehovah's Witness or Seventh-day Adventists, they're not allowed to extract bloods during the hospitalization. So one study is that the girl died really because bawal daw mag-inject ng dugo sa pasyente. So we cannot do nothing about that because that is their cultural parameter with their faith. It requires extensive field work by the researchers. If you want challenging study like ethnography, you can do that, but so extensive. Data collection includes formal and informal interview on several occasions and observations. So for example, you will go there once, twice. And it is extremely time consuming. So you really need time to go up to the mountains, and the parameters of may kakilala ko na taga UP, pumunta siya ng mga Cordillera region. After that, you have to remind yourself that you are a researcher. Ayun, pagdating niya, nagiging one of them na siya, nagiging NPA. So that's you have to be careful when you are into the research field. Data analysis is EMIC approach. Researcher interpret data from the perspective of population under study. Results are expressed as they are expressed by the subjects themselves. So you really need to record their utterances, their commentaries, their interviews when you do ethnography. These studies might be problematic when researchers are not familiar with social norms and language. So you need to be familiar with the place. Just like what I've said to you, be careful with the places that you go. Be Roman when you're in Rome. Be a Chinese when you're in China, just like that. And then sometimes when you're in a Muslim area, there are customs that you need to follow. When you're in Thailand, you're not allowed to pinpoint the statue of their prime minister. It's a no-no to them. So in some part of Muslim country, there are norms that you really need to follow. So you need to be careful of the social norms and language. One of the qualitative, it's also grounded theory. Its main feature is development of a new theory through collection and analysis of data about the phenomenon. So it's a higher version of phenomenology. It goes beyond phenomenology, as the explanation are genuinely new knowledge and are used to develop theories. So after you've done your your interview, you will create hypothesis propositions when you're doing inductive grounded theory in generating a theory. We will discuss that in the next sessions later on, maybe next month, if given a chance. Various data collection techniques are used here. So, higher version siya ng PENO. May literature review, may documentary analysis, interviews at observation with grounded theory. So, there are two types of generating a theory, inductive and deductive. So, grounded theory is inductive kind of theory development. Features of grounded theory is constant comparative analysis and simultaneous collection of analysis of data. Excuse me. I'll drink my water first. Case study might be qualitative or quantitative. So in-depth analysis of single or small numbers of units, excuse me. It is used to describe an entity that forms a single unit, such as person. So usually case study is like having a case study of the learning management style or the school management of university X, Y, and Z, just like that. Cases of, for example, COVID-19 patients, recovery. So you have case study of patient X, Y, and Z. So as a research design, it offers rich and in-depth information, which is not usually offered by other methods. So it is highly versatile method and employs any or all method of data collection. It can be used for different purposes. As I've said, development of new services, organizational changes in planning, purchasing, or delivery of health services, or even an evaluation of a program. A critic case may not be representative of similar cases. Findings are not generalizable. Can we apply findings elsewhere? Yes. So we're here. The phenomenology. From the word phenomenon. It's a study of phenomena, describing something that exists as part of the world. Phenomena might be an event, for example, in our world perspective, the environmental phenomenon would be something strange like the climate change. That is a phenomenon. And then a situation, an experience, or a concept. For example, back pain. So, common problem phenomenon we experience in a modern society is may back pain tayo dahil palagi na lang tayo pumutok sa computer, no? Then we also have this taboo phenomenon. One of my friend, Dr. Ana Katrina Wamanalwatin, she's studying about group sex that exists in the Philippines. It might be taboo, but it exists. That is her dissertation. We also have MMA, Emma, the famous extramarital affair. So, nagiging famous siya dahil sa pinalaki din ng mainstream media like mga kabit serye, The Legal Wife, and all the whatever is that in the mainstream television. It begins with acknowledgement that there is a gap in our understanding. It may not necessarily provide definite explanation, but it does raise awareness and increase insights. So imagine, bakit yung, I will not say, baka dahil sa ethics ito, but one of my friend, I will just say, in Mindanao, yung asawa niya, nagkabit. Pero ang kabit niya is babae. So, kumaliwa yung asawa niya na babae at nagkabit ng babae. And pwede din yung lalaki na yung kinabit ng lalaki, ng asawa. So like that. We cannot understand why it happens, but it may not necessarily provide definite explanations, but it gives us raise awareness and increase insights about the phenomenon that happens in our world. The methods of collecting qualitative data, it's direct interaction with individuals. We can have one-to-one interaction or interaction with a group. So usually, it's a face-to-face interview. But nowadays, because of COVID-19 pandemic, it is allowed now in research that we can interview online as long as we follow the ethics of research. The anonymity, then you are going to blur the participants and modulate the voice of the participant, be modulated. Then you interview them, interviews. You can have focus group discussion, face-to-face scenario. You can do observation in Skype or Facebook. You can have also data collection is really time consuming. So this is the challenge of qualitative. Although the benefits of these methods include richness of data and deeper insight into phenomena under study. So these are the types of phenomenology. One is transcendental. It focuses on essential meaning of individual experiences. Existential, the social construction of group reality where nature and perception of reality, where its ontology form is epistemology. How do we know that we want to know? That is existential. And then the famous hermeneutic, structure and interpretation of text, which focuses on language and communication. So this is an example of, allow me to give you the example of my study, phenomenology. This was my action research project in University of Cebu, Mambaling campus. It's changing sexual phenotypes, a phenomenological study. So I will click this one. Okay. Can you see the screen, sir? Dan?
Yes, sir.
The changing sexual phenotypes?
No, sir.
This one.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. I was given a privilege to publish this study in American Journal of Psychology and Behavioral Sciences for free. They allow me to publish this changing sexual phenotypes, a phenomenological study. I will just zoom the journal. So you can cite me here, Mark N. Abadjano, Changing Sexual Phenotypes, a Phenomenological Study, American Journal of Psychology and Behavioral, Volume 5, Number 1, 2018, page 1722. The abstract of this study is this action paper will try to elucidate the gap of knowledge about the change of sexual phenotypes. When we say phenotypes, preference of wait, preferences among maritime students who's able to go on board. So, kasi yung mga estudyante namin is mga maritime. Go on board and after on board. It will also give us a glimpse of dynamism of sexual fluidity of the member of LGBT. Especially, ang focus ng study ko is the discrete male, male bisexuals, and gay. The researchers use qualitative method with a phenological approach. In-depth interviews and comments were categorized to produce major themes. Based on the findings, there is indeed a phenomenon of changing of sexual phenotypes or preferences among maritime cadets. So these are the keywords: sexual phenotypes, sexual fluidity, phenomenology, LGBT, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, and discrete male. So the rationale of the study is I anchored it, so sexual fluidity is one of the more changes in sexuality or identity according to Yamana, Ridman, and Stewart of 2014. In the world of maritime, which is predominantly male, some discrete gender that belongs to LGBT or lesbian groups, LGBT, bisexual, and transsexual, are already accepted in the university. So the focus of the study was the changing of sexual preferences among straight, discrete, or bisexual man. When they go on board, something just snap or impulsive occurrence among mates that change his sexual phenotypes. The researcher will look into the history or gap of knowledge and to how this homosexuality or change of sexual preferences have happened, and will try to understand the underlying reasons from the perspective of participants. Thus, this prompted the researchers to conduct research on changing sexual phenotypes. So I conduct literature review. Prior to that, you can download, by the way, this journal research article, free, downloadable. Just search this title, Changing Sexual Phenotypes, a Phenological Study by Mark N. Abadjano. It's for free. You can cite the study. The statement of objectives. This is the statement of the problem in quantity. We call it statement of objectives in quali or domain of inquiry in some universities. The aim of the study was to know the reason why the sexual phenotypes or preferences of maritime, straight, discrete, or bisexual males on board change as they experience some sexual encounter on board with the same sex or the relations that occur on board and after the end of contract on land. The research will analyze themes based on the results and the emergent data gathered and in-depth interview among participants. So the methodology, use qualitative research methodology. Methods will explore the real experiences on board. So this method is selected through the researcher has the interest of study prevailing trends of changing sexual phenotypes of seafarers while away from their loved ones. So this is the research some sample of the respondents. The researchers are um, inclusion and exclusion criteria. This is the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The participants must belong to be biological male, discrete, bisexual, bicurious, or gay. Participants are ranged from ages 21 years old and above, so dapat legal siya. Must be college students and are willing to be interviewed with regards to study. So what happened is it took me 3 to 4 years. It's supposed to be a partner with Isagani Cruz from UP, but he backed out, so I continued the study because of lack of the participants. So I started conducting the study was 2013. Medyo nag-open na yung mga LGBT during that time, but lower years, 2010, 2000, hindi pa masyadong ganon ka-open ang LGBT in the academy. So, I use descriptive or hermeneutical phenomenology. It refers to the study of personal experience and interpretation of the experience of participants in an investigation. So, during this time, since bawal yung i-divulge yung mga participants, I use this code. Since also yung Pokemon that time, I called them Pokemon 1, Pokemon 2, so on and so forth. So let's start with Pokemon 2. So by the way, there's an interview guide I can give you later on. Send you sample of interview guide. So this is one of the answers of Pokemon 1. Sabi ko sa kanya about paano yan. It's an open-ended questions like I said to them, I asked question about sexual experience on board. One participant said, yes. Why? Actually, sir, it's hypocrisy. If I would say no as discrete male, if given opportunity with a mutual understanding, I would say yes to sex. Why not? And by possibly falling in love with the same sex, you would prefer to be out on land but not on board because of fears of sex addiction. Another one, Pokemon 7, I will have sex kung unsay na itabo, maya or ma-double blade, I will do it. Sikreto kung unsay may tabo sa barko. So sabi niya, kahit bisexual siya, isisikreto na lang daw. Pokemon 9, in Bisaya, I will translate it in Filipino. Na-close na mo nga lalaki nga makig-sex. If he gives the first move, why not? If naka-sex from specific to general, kay kung madawat sa usag-usa, muladlad ko inignaog. So, he will be out when he will be on land. Pokemon 11. Yes, I will involve in sex on board kung lami siya. But kung mahubog di, why not? Mugo ko. I will still be discreet. Mahadlok ko magladlad. Mahugawan sa akong apelyido. So, he is careful with his family names. So, he will be less discreet. Pokemon 12, I will be openly gay-bash, sabi niya. Pokemon 14 said, I will never change my preference from male to discreet to openly as gay because I am who I am. I was born a male but my actions are not. So, ito yung answer niya. One great, not shocking, but one unique example is Pokemon number 18. Sa ako nga case, nakasakop ko sa akong kauban nga Pinoy sa barko nga naay ka-sex nga foreigner nga seafarer. Unya kay na horny ko, ni-appeal og ni-join ko sa ilang sex. After ato, nagsige na mi og threesome naming tulo. Unya pag naog na mo sa barko, kauban natong Pinoy kay nagtauyab ni sa Pinoy nga seaman. Hangtod karon open na ang among relationship sa among family. So this is one of the participants said he caught in the act one of the Filipinos with the foreigners having sex male to male. and then they have threesomes, and then after that, they fall in love with a Filipino seafarer. And after that, based on the in-depth interview, the following teams were categorized. So team 1 was fears and stigma. So because of their utterances or responses, common reply of the participants about not engaging relationship or out on public about their sexuality because of fear of rejections and subjected to be bullied on board or on land. So ayaw nilang mag-adlad dahil of fears and stigmas. That is team number 1. Team number 2 is sex as physiological needs. The participants were bluntly responding about their sexual needs or desires as they are engaged in same-sex on board. So, parang tawag ng panahon or nature. Team number 3 is fatal attraction with same-sex. Excuse me. Most of the participants who engage in the same-sex intercourse are physically attracted to their mates. So, they got attracted to each other. And then, team number 4, changing lanes. There are commentaries that would suffice that the change of sexual preferences after the participant engage in same-sex or having relationship with same-sex on board. It means the conclusion of the researcher upon conducting the phenomenon of the changing sexual phenotypes. Ganito. On board, they are straight. And it become, after contract on land, they become discrete male. Excuse me. Discrete male, they become bisexual male. And then bisexual male, they become gay or out. On the phenomenon of changing sexual preferences, it can also be laid out that there was indeed a changing lane of sexual phenotypes as to the following patterns: from straight to discrete male to bisexual male to gay or out. So the recommendation of the researcher is this. Based on the conclusion, the researcher would like to recommend this to LGBT community and to the future researchers to conduct the same study on biological women who will also turn to become lesbian. Furthermore, to the maritime industry and academia to widen their perspective. So, ito na yung lalabas na we need to understand and widen our perspective and study of the rise of LGBT cadets who are willing to join the force in the maritime world. Perhaps the research output of this could help academic institutions to put up and strengthen the GAD or Gender and Development Program of the university in pursuit of human development and equality regardless of gender and color spectrum. Okay? We'll go back to the main slide. So that was my sample of the phenomenology. I hope you learned something about the changing sexual phenotypes, a phenomenological study. That was a brief discussion. In hermeneutics, these are the structure of the phenomenological research. Step 1, turning the nature of lived experience is formulating the question. So we will formulate questions first. Number 2, investigate experience before the conceptualize. It by interviewing participants or observing them and writing the results. So I really take down notes and record. I ask the participants permission that their name will be discreet and will not be divulged. So I was given a go signal to record, but do not divulge their names. Then categorize the results step by step, reflection of the essential themes. That's what I did. There's a theme. And then you describe the phenomenon and interpret the result. It was from Mustakas of 1994 about phenomenological methods, hermeneutics, phenomenology. So when you conduct interview in qualitative, may be ethno or peno phenomenology, it should be semi-structured interviews, series of open-ended questions. So it should be an open-ended questions. Structured interviews are for quantity. Semi-structured interviews or focus interviews are for quality. Bear in mind, when you conduct qualitative, it should be semi-structured. Or unstructured interviews discussing limited topics. Qualitative interviews are semi-structured or unstructured. Qualitative interviews should be fairly informal. Do not be too formal, too stiff. You should build a rapport with your participants. Otherwise, hindi sila lalabas sa kanilang comfort zone. And you might not get the best result or emerge data from them dahil close sila sa'yo. And require careful consideration and preparation. Collect information from groups of people. This is FGD, focus group discussion, data collection. FGD can be used when resources are limited to identify a number of individuals who share a common factor. For example, you have an FGD about alcoholics, yung mga tagay pre, or FGD ng mga kabit, FGD ng mga ganito at ganyan, no? Mga deviant behaviors, sexual deviant behavior. Then group interaction among participants. So basically, you can have FGD if the issue is not sensitive. So when you have sensitive issues like rape, do not do that in an FGD because it's too personal. Or HIV, depende sa mga participants, but usually it's too personal. So you do that in-depth interview when you have sensitive topic or participants. The characteristics of FGD usually is 6 to 10 people, and then data collection, of course, analysis is time consuming. It requires certain skills such as facilitation. You know how to facilitate the FGD. You know how to moderate, to listen carefully, observe, and analyze. In Quali, you really need also to observe, so it's challenging. Might be the only method to collect information in certain conditions. So you observe people, you observe their nonverbal cues, observation of people versus observation of environment. Observation can also serve as verifying or nullifying information collected through other methods. So some psychologists can identify what are fake responses because of their verbal cues. So the techniques in observation can be written description or also video recording. You no need to take notes in video recording. But you need to really ask permission to the participants that you are video recording. This is ethics of research. In observation also, you also have photographs. You can use photographs of buildings, and neighborhoods, and appearances. Shots can be used. Documentation, wide range of written materials, policy document can be used in observation. How to handle qualitative research data? Recording versus note-taking. Usually in Quali, you can transcribe qualitative data. Procedures, written version of interview, time-consuming, it's estimated, required 5:1, produce a lot of written text, so transcribing. But with the technology, there's transcriber already in the apps. You can use that. Transcribe may not be essential for each interview. Tape analysis, taking notes from playback of tape recording interviews. Long time ago, when there's no cell phone yet, we used the usual tape, na magnetic tape, na may na may pencil, just to rewind. But with the advent of technology, you just have to replay and then take down notes. And there are apps that can transcribe your data. So consideration in handling the data, the tone and inflection. So By listening and noting, there are positive and negative connotation, certainty and uncertainty, then constant comparative with the data. So you need to analyze the qualitative data, involve summary. You need to summarize the data being collected. And one of the example of quali is you can do content analysis. Like I've said, there are computerized data analysis like NVivo, which is well-known software packages, NVivo, Atlas TI, Nodus, and so much more. In the qualitative data, IBM also have a data analysis package. So you need to present the results of qualitative research, may it be TENO, ETNO, or GT. Look at the themes and categories and structures the results accordingly. The structure can be set out at the beginning at the list of the diagram. Themes are the main findings of the study, so the themes are very important. Like what I have here, there are 4 themes in my sexual phenotypes, changing sexual phenotypes. And the support findings, evidences are represented at direct quotation from respondents. A range of quotations should be selected, like strength of opinion or belief. So, like I've said, direct quotation is the main evidence from the respondents. So, for example, you could have themes like health issues for young people, and then you selected major categories, sexual health and drugs. Under sexual health, you have safe sex, pregnancy, sexual behavior. Or in drugs, you can focus on smoking, alcohol, and illicit drugs. Just like that. It's our themes, examples. Then data collection, time, we almost have a time. Data collection is the process. You need to data collect everything. I think I discussed this already, the interview method also. It involves not only face-to-face, but also learning from respondents' gestures, facial expression, poses, and his environment. So since COVID-19 is here already, we can have interview through Skype, through video conferencing, as long as you are not going to divulge the video in and post it in social media. That's a big no-no. So these are types of interview: personal interviews, telephonic interviews, group interviews, individual interviews, selection interviews, and depth interviews. So the new one is online interviews is accepted already. So according to Kevali, conducting an in-depth interview, stage 1, you thematize, you clarify the purpose, and then stage 2, you design the interview guide and interview proper. So there is a design. There are a lot of design in interview guide. I can share it to you later on. And then transcribing, analyzing, rereading the interview transcript to identify themes. So this is how challenging is qualitative. You are reading their lives, their experiences, their emotions. Sometimes you will cry with their experiences or get curious of what they're doing on board or whatever your subject is. And then verifying, and also last stage would be reporting. So that's it. This will end my sharing. I know we have a lot of things to share, but we lack of time. I'm only given 1 hour to share my qualitative with phenomenology. I see to it that I am in the right time. So I consume already 1 hour almost. Did I consume 1 hour, Sir Jan? Sir Jan? Ma'am Leia?
Sir, almost.
Almost.
Almost
Okay.
an hour. Yeah.
Okay. Almost 1 hour. Okay. So before I end this, if you need help, this is just my segue before I end my discussion. If you need help in thesis, dissertation, or online project, perhaps you need data analysts on your research or assistance for Scopus or Web Science Index publication for your NBC ranking, you can contact me at Abadianos Research Analysis and Services. We're here to help your research. These are my email, Gmail, mark.abadiano@gmail.com. You can add me on Facebook. This is my contact number and also my website, pinoyresearcher.com. I also have Dr. Abadiano's books are now available. You can search this online through order through Lazada, National Bookstore, and online platform like Google Books. For book orders for your university, like University of Mindanao already have this media information literacy, and some part of Luzon and Visayas, they're using my book. Thank you. Media information literacy for senior high. Research in daily life 1, this is qualitative. Some of what I discussed is already here. And also quantitative data for research method. Thanks. Any questions or comment? I'm ready to answer your questions the best that I could. Thank you, Sir John. And
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Abadiano, for that informative and resourceful talk about qualitative research and phenomenology. So, actually, it's my first time to hear the word phenomenology. But indeed, Dr. Abadiano explained it simply. So I might need your help, Doc, in writing my research paper soon. I might contact you.
okay, I'm willing to help you, Sir John.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
So for sure, our participants also have questions regarding the talk of your talk, sorry. So now we'll have our open forum. So just a reminder for our participants, as much as we'd like to cater your questions tonight, we'll only accept 2 because of the time limit. You may type your questions and concerns in the comment section in our YouTube live. Again, 2 questions only will be entertained. The rest of the questions may be addressed through our COE hallway page in Facebook, and we will try to contact Dr. Navarro for the answers. So let us see if we have questions in our YouTube live. Actually, a while ago, I saw some questions for a while. There's no questions yet. There's no question yet, sir. I need for a while. Okay. Here's one question coming from Melvin Barakaw. So he said, "Good evening, sir. I just want to ask, sir, if how successful could it be done in the new normal setup?"
Okay, thank you for that question, sir. In the new setup, this is now the challenge. So we are going to conduct interview using online apps like Skype, Facebook. So the challenge there is the confidentiality of the participants. So still successful. There are studies that were conducted successfully as long as we follow the research ethics about anonymity or confidentiality of the participants. Okay?
Okay. Thank you,
I
Doc.
hope. Yes,
I hope,
thank you.
yeah, I hope the question was answered, Mr. Barakaw. Next, the last question, Doc, for the open forum is, what is the advantage of coding in qualitative research?
Yes, you can have a rich data in qualitative research. The code there is you are able to identify the themes, and when you code the participants, also you're able to hide their identity, and also their utterances or comments could be thematized with the themes, with the codes. You were able to emerge some findings later on, if it's phenomenology or grounded theory. Okay? So you can have
Thank you,
rich
Dr.
data.
Abanyado. Okay, sir. So I hope the question was answered, Mr. Andy Brimon. So I guess that's the limit for our questions for the open forum. Now let's proceed to the trivia. Once again, thank you, Dr. Abadiano, for answering the questions of our participants. And would like to say
So, Sir John,
thank you also for our participants for asking questions. It shows that you are really interested in our topic tonight. Now, it is the trivia time. So for the mechanics, if you wish to answer our trivia questions, please write them in the comment section of our YouTube Live. I also remind the viewers that the first name with the correct answer that I, as the host, see from my screen will be declared winner. For the winners, please message the COE hallway page with your complete name and GCash account number. So I might need your assistance, Dr. Abadiano, if the answer is correct.
okay. Okay, Sir John.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, for the first question, what are the types of phenomenology? Again, what are the types of phenomenology? So, again, you may answer now. What are the types of phenomenology? So, I'm still waiting for the answer. Actually, wala pa yun yung gawas.
Sir John, at least one type. One type of
One type
phenomenology.
only.
Yeah,
Okay,
because-
sir, we have an answer here. Okay, and we have an answer here. Mr. Fitzgerald Quintanar and Miss Daisy Isel. So they both have the correct answers: transcendental, existential, and hermeneutic. Okay, so congratulations,
Very good.
Mr. Yeah, Mr.
Congratulations.
Where is it? Yeah. Okay. Next question. Again, for those who, Mr. Fitzgerald Quintanar and Miss Daisy Giselle, kindly message our COE Facebook page and write your complete name and your GCash account number for your 100 pesos loan. Next, for the last question. Yeah, congratulations. For the next question, kindly give at least 3 stages in conducting an in-depth interview. Again, kindly give at least 3 stages in conducting an in-depth interview. So, is it okay, sir? At least 3 lang?
Yes, because there are 7, right?
Okay. Yeah, there's 7. Okay, again, at least 3 stages of conducting an in-depth interview. So, I'm still waiting for the answers. Okay, we have Hani Silva, thematizing, designing, interviewing. Correct,
Wow.
sir?
I'm glad you are really listening and very interested in our topic.
And yes. Okay, so they got the correct answer. Miss Hanife Silva. So kindly message the COE Facebook page. Congratulations. Kindly comment the COE Facebook page for your complete name and GCash account number if you have GCash. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Abadiano, for helping me with the answers.
You're welcome, Sir John.
Okay. Again, for our participants, thank you so much for participating actively to our trivia questions. Once again, USJR COE is now on YouTube. If you wish to see replays of all the webinars that we have conducted, please hit the subscribe button and like our YouTube channel. If you also think that we have imparted very useful, relevant, and timely webinars, you may also share and invite friends and colleagues to visit and subscribe our YouTube channel so that they too will be learning along with you. The University of San Jose Recoletos College of Education has a new department, and it's the Special Education Department. To inform us about their offerings, may I call Miss Maria Teresa Belleza, a SPED teacher of the Special Education Department, to explain to us their department. Good evening, Miss Belleza.
Yes, good evening, Sir John. Can you hear me?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, good evening to all our viewers. So, St. Ezekiel Moreno Special Learning Center, or SEMS-LC, is the SPED Center of USJR. We provide special education instruction to children with special needs. We cater to students with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, intellectual disabilities, including Down syndrome, AHD, learning disabilities, and multiple disabilities. New in our department is SCHOOLS. SCHOOLS stands for SPED Center to Home Optimal Online Solutions. We aim to bring specialized instruction to children with special needs into their homes. SCHOOLS is our response to the uncertainty in special education caused by the pandemic. In this new normal, we offer an array of programs in exclusive one-on-one settings through online sessions. Our programs are IAP-based, and we provide various opportunities for the students to learn not only in academic skills, but also in significant home living skills. Our special educators who are experienced in providing individualized and specialized instruction adapt their classroom lessons to online classes. Because online special education is something new to most, if not all, students and parents, we offer 1 week free trial for those interested, free of any fees and obligation to enroll. Please contact Ms. Ava Divina Gracia in 0917988022 for more information. You may also send your message through USJR COE hallway page. Thank you and adelante.
Thank you so much, Ms. Belleza. Time flies when we are all having fun while learning, right? We have already 4 webinars for the month of July, and tonight's webinar will be the 5th session. We still have 3 more sessions to go. To give us more about what is in store for the next webinar, allow me to call Mr. Leonel Cabungcal, a faculty member of the PE department. Good evening, Sir Cabungcal.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. In behalf of University of San Jose Recoletos, College of Education, the Center of Excellence of Teacher Education, we are inviting you all to our next webinar session with the topic Special Education in a New Normal 2.0, focusing on Leadership Toolkit for SPED teachers during the pandemic and teaching exceptional children in the time of pandemic. This will be on August 14, 2020, that's Friday at 7 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. This will be presented by the following speakers: Ms. Marby Lim, Dr. Jessica Joy Hinakay, and Mr. Romeo Balandara. For more information on how to register for free, visit our USJR COE hallway page. Thank you and adelante.
Thank you so much, Sir Cabungcal. There you have it, our valued viewers. We have reached the end of our webinar. To give us a synthesis of what transpired in our sharing and to close the night, may I call the Dean of the University of San Jose Recoletos, College of Education, Dr. Gistoni P. Bapia. Good evening, Doc.
Hello, good evening, Sir John, and good evening to our viewers. Once again, we come to the end of our fifth session for our COE Learn at Home webinar series. So before anything else, I wish to thank our dear speaker. Was actually very, very busy, but despite his busy schedule, he really gave us his time and sharing to us his expertise on qualitative research with phenomenology. And as we all know, that our speaker is really an international speaker and a sought-after speaker who has been invited to a lot of conferences, not only in the Philippines but also in the other parts of the world. So we are very much glad and honored to have Dr. Abadiano with us this evening. So I just have some few takeaways with the session and what I've learned from Dr. Abadiano. And it's pretty interesting to know that it's given that quantitative methods refers to numbers, qualitative methods are non-numerical data. However, when Dr. Abadiano shared his example of the research, the phenomenology research, and it talks about social issues, and I found out that it's very interesting to know the opinions of people, the perceptions of people, their experiences, and it was achieved through qualitative studies. And at the same time, we've also learned from our speaker that it's with qualitative studies that a researcher would enable himself or herself to provide insights, which is actually not possible to be elucidated in the quantitative researches. And at the same time, an event, situation, experience, or concept is what phenomenology research is all about. And with what Dr. Abadiano presented to us on the issue about LGBT and the common experiences of those different types of members of the LGBT team, we come to realize that this type of research actually raises awareness on social issues and phenomenon, which a lot of us might be very interested with to know about, which that's also what I felt. It also enables one to reflect and provide actions to issues raised, or it might not be an action, but it could provide them more of a reflection points, And at the same time, so it also allows one to use research insight to discuss and address other sensitive issues which are not yet tackled, or some of these issues are just simply kept or just not being divulged as of the moment because there are no available research at hand. And that is what we've learned from our speaker. And so therefore, parents, teachers, and students, we should all remember that we do qualitative research not just as a school requirement, but as a way for us to understand social realities around us that quantitative data cannot actually measure using numbers. However, our speaker also have clearly emphasized that we should always be responsible in keeping the identities of our researches, and it should really be highly considered. So with that, I wish to thank you all once again for the continued support for our webinar series. And of course, for those who have not yet enrolled or not yet visited the college, I want you to try connecting with us at the USJR COE hallway page and know more the different programs in the USJR College of Education, which is a center of excellence in teacher education in the region. So we want you to be part of the team or the community who wants to create a change, who wants to make people to excel and be noticed. And at the same time, the very end goal is for the college to create more responsible teacher researchers in the future who also inspires and who also raises awareness. So with that, maraming salamat po once again for your continued support to all of us. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's USJR College of Education. And at the same time, please don't forget to also follow our USJR COE hallway page for more updates, educational updates and innovations and trainings, workshops, conferences given to all of you so that you can also be part of the growing learning of experts in the field of teacher education. Once again, good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Babia. For more information about the College of Education of the University of San Jose Recoletos and the varied courses and majors we offer and the amazing projects we have had, please visit our website, www.usjr.edu.ph, or visit our Facebook page. Be part of our growing family now. Most of you are now asking how to get your e-certificate for tonight's webinar. Please visit the COA hallway page right after this session and watch the tutorial video that the team has prepared for you. A friendly reminder, your e-certificates will be sent through your email, so please write your complete name and email address correctly so you will be able to get your certificates. Once again, this has been your host, Mr. Obando, leaving you all a quote from Jack Lehman saying, "Never stop learning, for when you stop learning, we stop growing." And we all do hope that the University of San Jose Recoletos College of Education has helped you learn and grow at the same time. Thank you and a pleasant evening to each and every one of us.